So, the first set of teasers for Godzilla vs. Kong movie has been released last month, and again now sometime back yesterday. In the one that we saw last month, it was a short 3-second clip of Godzilla swimming and Kong roaring out loud. At this rate, we are going to have everything in the movie spoiled for us. Just kidding, I'm bad at humor. In this more recent clip, which is even shorter, like 3 seconds wasn't enough or too long for legendary, oh my god, okay, we get to see Godzilla rising up from the ocean into the aircraft carrier, and then the second part was Kong swinging his arm for a punch, and finally the third part, which is Godzilla getting punched in the face. So our big party pooper question is, how can the aircraft carrier stay afloat when both Kong and Godzilla are on top of it? Is it even possible, or is it a plot hole that is just ignored because the scene was super awesome? I'm guessing the latter, but before you raise your eyebrows and clench your fist to give me that Kong punch, I beg you to hear me out. In this video we are going to showcase and discuss the buoyancy of the ship, its displacement, and if the scene is a possibility. So here it goes. How do ships float? Have you ever wondered how a ship made of steel can float? If you drop a steel bolt into a bucket of water, the bolt quickly sinks to the bottom. Then how can a steel ship float? And better yet, how can a steel ship carry a heavy load without sinking? It has to do with the density of the ship, including its cargo, relative to the density of water. But because of its body design, which contains a lot of air, it pushes aside enough water so that the buoyancy force is equal to the gravity force. That is why a ship floats. In fact, a ship does not float on the surface of the water. It sinks in the water a bit with a part of its hull below the surface. Displacement. For example, if you build a box with no lid, 1 meter into 0.5 meters into 0.5 meters on the outside, its displacement is 0.25 cubic meters. Water weighs 1000 kilograms per cubic meter. So the box displacement is 1000 into 0.25, which is 250 kilograms. So if the box weighs 50 kilos, then you can load 200 kilos into that box on water before it will sink. If you only weigh 120 kilograms, you could paddle around the pond in it. In brief, a boat will only sink until its weight displaces the same weight of the water it is in. Note that seawater weighs a bit more than fresh water. So how do ships sink? If the object is denser than the fluid, the object will sink. If the object is less dense, then it will float. Flooding is the most common reason why ships sink. The scientific explanation behind how ships float is that the weight of the vessel is supported by the weight of the water it displaces when floating on it. Okay, the equation was this. The weight of the ship is equal to volume of water displaced into density of water, and so the water that is displaced by the ship equals the volume of the ship that it is submerged. So we can rewrite the equation as the weight of the ship is equal to submerged volume of the ship into the density of water. When water is able to enter the vessel through openings in the hull or the superstructure, the regions filled with water are no longer hydrostatically considered to be a part of the ship. However, the weight of the vessel remains constant. This creates an imbalance where the weight of the ship is now larger than that of the displaced water. As a result, the vessel continually sinks lower in the water until it is completely submerged. So now let's see the aircraft carrier that was seen in the teaser. It was a Gerald R. Ford class of aircraft carrier. It was built to come in and eventually replace the existing Nimitz class carriers, beginning with the delivery of the first ship. The impressive full load or maximum displacement is 100,000 tons and makes the Gerald R. Ford class the world's biggest aircraft carrier. The first carrier in its class was delivered to the US Navy in May 2017, while initial operational capability is anticipated to be achieved in 2020. So never mind the blabbering, the maximum weight that a ship can hold, which includes people, aircraft, fuel, weapons, and its own empty weight before it goes down under, and I mean underwater, not Australia, the maximum weight would be 100,000 tons. Plus 1,000 to 2,000 tons for emergencies. Now let's see Godzilla's weight. Godzilla 2014 from Legendary Pictures was scaled to be 108.2 meters or 355 feet and weighs 90,000 tons, making it the largest film version at that time. Godzilla is also so ridiculously strong and dense that the density of his muscle and bones are the biggest contributors to his toughness and weight. In King of the Monsters of 2019, he has grown heavier with just 66 tons shy to bring him to the heaviest incarnation at around 100,000 tons. Now let's go to Kong's weight. Kong 2017 was a very large monster, even though compared to Godzilla and the other titans at that time, he was still very small. This Kong was designed to be 104 feet tall to give him the weight of only 158 tons, and that would evoke the idea of a human speck in the shadow of the Colossus. So it was rather confusing to have a 158-ton ape fight against a 100,000-ton reptile. Therefore, Kong was increased in size to a 200 feet plus in the comics Birth of Kong, and now, as we have seen in the teaser, he would be close to, if not a bit taller than Godzilla. So a height of around 380 to 400 feet tall, which would give him a weight of 60 to 80,000 tons, since the G-Man also has the tail, which would give him the edge in the weight class. So what will happen? So keeping the science in mind and taking away the fiction, Kong alone wouldn't be able to sit bare ass on that aircraft carrier. His weight was already too much and would exceed the maximum displacement of water the ship could give, including the empty weight of the ship. Therefore, never mind Godzilla, even Kong alone on the ship would have made it sink faster than the iceberg hitting that Titanic 100 years ago. Anyway, remember the scene when the Titanic was sinking and it went up vertically? Well, that is what would happen if Godzilla even tried to climb on top of the ship. That part of the ship that Godzilla was leaning on would have gone down. No chance. Zero, nada. So yeah, the conclusion of this discussion is that Godzilla and Kong are too heavy to be on that ship, and if they were both on that, they would be both underwater. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Do tell us what you think and leave a comment down there. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for regular updates. Take care, fam.